Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, amma ba'd. Again, this is the third video, and what I'm going to do is try to bring some history of Saudi Arabia, which is as a state. It began, and this is according to Wikipedia, but they do bring some proof and some truth to the table on history about other countries and things like this. Of course, I'm going to use some of the ulama's statements in relation to, especially the Saudi Arabian ulama who live there, who were born there, and they know their country. So, as a Saudi Arabia began as a state, began with its foundation in 1933 by Abdulaziz Al Saud. Although the history of what was to become of Saudi Arabia goes back to the beginnings of the human habitation in Arabia, up to 20,000 years ago. The region has twice in the world history had a global impact. And these are kuffar. These are, most of them, some may be Muslim that might have put in to write some of this history, but from what I know of Wikipedia, most of they're not Muslim. And if they're speaking about the impact that Saudi Arabia has made, then that's a proof right there too, besides what Allah has bestowed upon them. The first was, as it continues, the first was in the 7th century, and this is the impact that they're trying to speak about, when it became the cradle of Islam. Okay, and that was during the the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given the Quran, and he was given the Quran in Mecca, and he was given the Quran in Saudi Arabia. So when the people speak against the place, they have to be really careful. I know many of those people that speak against them, they try to speak against the government and say that excuse me, and say that they're corrupt, and that they're, of course, again, they say they call them kuffar because they make tagut, and they're tagut kabir, and this is meaning a big tagut. Come on, this is ridiculous. These people speak totally. Majority of them are against shirk, which is in joining partners with Allah, putting God in the position of being like a man, or having a child, or having, being a woman, all these aspects of what people in the times of before Islam and ancient times have made their interpretation of what they believe the Creator to be, and gave him partnership with others, and gave him human qualities, which is shirk. Okay, which is against Allah's tawheed, that He is the one and only, and He has, He's only due the worship and due praise only to Him, first and foremost. And excuse me again, a little bit tired tonight. I worked a good day, and stuff like that. Alhamdulillah. So anyway, Islam started there. So you can say all the bad you want to say, but that's where Islam was established there, and it still is, and majorly. The second was from the mid-20th century, when the discovery of vast oil deposits propelled it into a key economic and geopolitical role. And that's basically saying right there, that's where the blessings of Allah drop down, because before this, prior to this, from what I understand of the history, they did not have much wealth, and it's so being that they didn't have much wealth, there was not a lot of strength in Saudi that they could influence the world. They couldn't influence barely their people. They were struggling, you know. It was a struggling Bedouin type of style country, because most of the country was consisted of desert and desert dwelling people, Bedouins, and then the rest they had their cities like Mecca and the ancient cities, Mecca and Medina, but and other cities, small villages and stuff like that. But it was still that desert, you know, raw, rural life. And they didn't have a lot of the things that they have today. They didn't have a lot of technological advancements and things. And when that came in this oil came in, it was able to allow them to have what they needed, which was wealth, to be able to propel themselves and put themselves forth into advancement, technologically wise. And it helped them to be able to push dawah better. It helped them to be able to spend money on Muslim countries that were struggling worse than them. You know, but the people don't state that. They don't talk about the charities that the Saudi Arabian government has been putting out to Muslim countries. Not just letting the kuffar come and, you know, claim they're providing help to these Muslim countries, but yet they owe big debt to these organizations such as the IMF, International or Eternal Monetary Fund, or what have you. You know, these people who have put many countries, especially Muslim countries, but many countries into debt because they didn't say, okay, we're giving you this money, and you take it and raise your country up, and that's what we want. We just want to see countries raise up and be self-sufficient and flourishing, and so that our world can flourish together, and it's not just one country, particular country, who's a superpower and has power over all these other countries. No, that the other countries can be able to catch up because you help them and help them feed their people and help them start an economic base and an economic infrastructure that can build their country up. No, they don't worry about that. These organizations, so-called fund and monetary funding organizations, you know, they're not charitable. They're business. They're all about business and money and power. But get back to the point, Saudi Arabia would come in and bring their wealth and to help as they're supposed to help within Islam as it is supposed to be. You know, this is what we're supposed to do. You know, if I become wealthy, I'm supposed to give my wealth. And in Islam, according to the pillars of Islam, you have zakat. And zakat is charity. It's the charity that is obligatory to give a percentage of it, which is called 2.5% of your income, yearly income. You take 2.5% from that to give to the poor. Okay, look at this. This is Islam. What other religion do you have that they say that you have to give to the poor? It's just, if the people want, you know, tell them, please give. Or you do these charity balls, and then you got all these rich people or you're trying to get a lot of money for the church and this and like that and whatever. What about the poor? What about the poor? Not about the masjid. Now, of course, we try to help out the masjid. In Saudi, they help out many masjids, especially in their country, and they take care of the scholars. They take care of the people of knowledge. You know, and even in other Muslim lands that the people of knowledge are correct now, they're not gonna promote and support a person who's supposed to be of knowledge, but he's corrupt in his teachings, and he's teaching innovations. No, they're not going to do that, and they speak highly against that because the Prophet